Hello everybody, it's Friendly Go2 and I'm back again with the Steven Universe vlog, and today's episode is Know Your Fusion. And in this episode, Steven and Amethyst want to show off to Garnet and Pearl that Smoky Quartz, which they haven't seen. Smoky Quartz obviously being the fusion of Amethyst and Steven, which they used to take down Jasper in that Earthlings episode. So they plan an event and they show her off, and Garnet and Amethyst are so Garnet and Pearl are so impressed that they fuse into Sardonyx, and they go into Sardonyx's room in the temple, which only exists if Sardonyx exists. And Sardonyx has this sort of late night talk show thing set up where she interviews Smoky Quartz and learns all about her secret powers and her weapons and all that kind of stuff. So while it's said that Smoky Quartz obviously has her yo-yo weapon, Sardonyx wants to know what else, like in addition to just her gem weapon, that Smoky Quartz is capable of. Like, in addition to, having her giant sledgehammer, or not in that, in addition to having her giant, like, fist whip weapon, Sujilate is also super strong. In addition to, having articulation powers, Sardonyx also has a giant hammer, stuff like that. So they want to see what the equivalent of that is with Smoky Quartz, so they try to see if she's a good archer, which she isn't. They try to see if she's a heavy hitter like Sujilate, which she isn't. They try to see if she can burp fire like Alexandrite, which she can't. So when it seems like there's no real power outside of the gem weapon, Smoky Quartz starts to get a little bit down on herself and starts roasting herself, or being very self-deprecating in front of the entire crowd, being the fake crowd sort of thing that's going on. And Sujilate realizes that she kind of hijacked the big reveal of Smoky Quartz. She just wanted to have Smoky Quartz have a fun time, and Sardonyx kind of hijacked the show. So the room starts to fall apart because Garnet and Pearl unfuse. And, since Sardonyx doesn't exist, neither does the room. So Smoky Quartz saves the day. And when she saves the day, Garnet and Pearl just talk, sit down and have a normal discussion about what Smoky Quartz is like. And I really liked this episode. Obviously, as I've said before, outside of Garnet, my favorite fusion is Sardonyx. She's just so much fun. And in most appearances you see the fusions, because they're usually done by bigger voice talents, then you usually see them, but it's a non-speaking role. Like you see Opal, she doesn't really say anything, and you see Sujilate in some episodes, she doesn't say anything. And even though there has been a few instances where Sardonyx has shown up and hasn't said anything, I like that they actually brought the voice actress back to do this thing. I have a feeling they wouldn't do that for someone like Nicki Minaj, because the big bucks and stuff like that. But this woman, who I think she's a singer in the musical Wicked, but don't quote me on that, because I read that like when the first Sardonyx episode came out, and I haven't even cared to check up on it since. But anyway, I just love Sardonyx. I love her personality as like this clown sort of talk show host sort of person, like that. She's very showman-like, which sort of combines Garnet and Pearl's personalities a little bit. Pearl's a little more elegant and out there with the dancing, and Garnet's obviously out there with, a lot of other things. So yeah, I like that, the way their personalities blend, and I especially love Sardonyx. And I love that this is how they chose to introduce Smoky Quartz, is that they kind of set it up like a talk show, so it wouldn't just be them all sitting around in a, in a circle, on the couch or something. They're just like, hey, Smoky Quartz, so where did you, get your abilities from? And they're like, well, I don't know. That wouldn't be nearly as fun as this great setup of the talk show, and the fake crowd and all the goofy sound effects and stuff. I really love how they set up the Sardonyx Tonight, I think is what it's called, is her talk show. And there's just some Sardonyx is just, her voice is just so full of energy that I just love every line she delivers, even if it's just here, step right this way, we gotta go talk to Jorge or whatever. Even then, the way that she says it is just with such energy and devotion to the role, that it's just nice to hear that. I mean, I'm not gonna make any assumptions, but thinking if you walked up to a famous actress or a famous singer and you're like, hey, you want to do a voice of this fusion on a little cartoon that everybody, a little cartoon that might be like, I'm above that, but whatever. I'll just, I'll half butt it like Nicki Minaj did. But no, I really like that the Sardonyx's voice actress really gives it her all and really adds a new personality to the role, especially with the voice. I just love Sardonyx's voice, and I just love her energy too. And matched with Smokey's, Smokey seems to be a little on the goofier side too. She seems, Steven and Amethyst are also on the goofier side. She seems to be, good at poking fun and stuff like that. She makes the audience laugh a few times, even though she says they're an easy crowd. I like that Smokey is also sort of like a jokester. So when, the two forces, when Steven and Amethyst and Garnet and Pearl fuse, both their personalities turn into like these jokey types. And I like how they bounce it off of each other. What I find especially interesting is that this is how they chose to introduce Smoky Quartz to the other gems, because this shows both of the personalities of the gems combined bouncing off of this new character. So instead of taking an episode to introduce her to Pearl and an episode to introduce her to Garnet, which they have done a few times before, I mean, no, not a, criticism, but they've done it before, that they, just combine the two, they literally combine the two characters and just have Smoky Quartz bounce off her and, react and go like that. And for, the 8 minutes they're on screen, Sardonyx and Smoky Quartz have an awesome chemistry. I love the way they interact with each other. They're both just goofballs. It's just really fun to watch. This episode's just fun. I love it. Besides that, not really too much to talk about. I just really, really like this one. So, did you guys like it? Let me know. See you guys later. Bye-bye.